finger.
Hey, Hepcats.
Greetings.
This is good old Owen, and I, the great Benjamin Man the Hammer. We're gonna talk about the good old days of Universal Studios in Orlando, Florida.
Be a pretty interesting video.
Yeah, I thought I was doing research the other night, and
Okay.
I thought, yeah, I was remembering all the old rides that were there back in their early aughts and the late 90s that I experienced.
Of course.
Now no one will, because they're gone.
Well, there's some like virtual rides they have on YouTube if you want to search for those.
Well, you can do the POVs, but
yes.
Man, it's not the same.
No, it's not.
You can't feel the fire in Amity.
No, you can't.
Not anymore.
You'll feel the fire in Amity, but it's not Amity anymore.
It's Harry Potter Part Dos, man.
Diagon Alley coming very, very soon.
I can't stand Harry Potter, so it's up in the wind to me. But
some awesome attractions if you're a fan or not.
Yeah, I'd probably go. Kristen really likes them, so.
Green God's Bank Coaster is actually taking up that spot, and it's it's coming up rather rapidly. That there's rumors right now they could actually start testing it by the end of the year.
Old Jaws killed people, so
yeah.
Oh well.
So did Voldemort.
Exhibit A.
Yes.
Anywho.
Indeed.
But I just wanted to, I was looking at like park maps and stuff now, and it's just like no Back to the Future, no Jaws, Earthquake's renamed, King Kong's not there.
Yep.
And I was just like, I remember how good those things were.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
And Universal Hollywood's a lot more of a throwback too, with their backlot tour, the way they have everything. Of course, they still have Jaws. They don't have Kongfrontation anymore. They have that King Kong 360.
Yeah, I saw it on YouTube once.
Which looks pretty cool, and I'm looking forward to experiencing that. They've got everything, like the old school Universal backlot tour is not as intact as it could be, but it's a little bit more intact than it is here. So
I just miss like certain queues in certain areas.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like I remember the Kongfrontation in Orlando, which is now the Mummy, which I haven't got to ride yet. But
Mummy
that
is
thing
spectacular.
looks awesome.
Spectacular.
It's like the Aerosmith roller coaster on speed. To put it bluntly, I love Ancient Egypt. That whole like
right up your alley.
Yeah, the POV for that ride looks awesome. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
really want to experience it sometime. But Kongfrontation's not there. The queue for that was like this weird like subway station kind of looking thing. Like there's graffiti everywhere.
Yeah.
There's like topical movie posters. Like I think like Nutty Professor poster might have been there.
Yeah, like early 90s, mid 90s movie posters.
Yeah. There was a Jurassic Park poster there.
Definitely.
And I remember being like little and being like scared to death about going on this ride because it was like, I mean, I wasn't exactly separating fantasy from reality.
Of course.
But, my dad was with me. He's like, dude, man, like King Kong's got some big ass titties. And like, that's what made the ride awesome for me. And then I just wrote it again and again and again. That's my dad. That's just...
That's really funny.
You'll hear me talk about him.
Well, it's really interesting that you mentioned that because, I mean, even the fact that The Mummy now is such an incredible ride, and you can definitely still see, like, the after effects of the old Kongfrontation building, because it's pretty much still the same. It's just they gutted the building out, and they took out King Kong, and they put the Mummy roller coaster in. And it's funny you mentioned Rock and Roller Coaster, because Rock and Roller Coaster goes upside down. You'll never go upside down in The Mummy, ever.
Really?
You feel like you do?
I thought it was corkscrews in it.
No, you do not go upside down in The Mummy.
Huh.
At all. You literally have a lap bar, and that's all that you have. It's kind of like, okay, you haven't rode Expedition Everest, but I'm guessing you probably have rode Big Thunder Mountain before.
This was forever ago, yes.
Okay. You know how you have the high seat backs, and then you have the lap bar. Kind of like you get it at a normal amusement park.
Yeah.
That is all you have holding you into The Mummy. Actually, what it is, instead of a lap bar, it's kind of a curved, like, lap bar that just presses into your legs and holds you there.
That's the same mechanism they use on Top Thrill.
Yes, exactly.
Cedar Point, which you don't go upside down, but you literally you're plummeting like 400 odd feet.
Yeah. Someday I will ride that ride.
It's a fun ride. Please go on it.
If I could ever get to Cedar Point, that might happen.
We should go.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah,
it's a great ride, and Halloween Horror Nights used. Well, back in the day, when Confrontation was around, Halloween Horror Nights actually put like mutants and different like creatures out, so you could walk through there.
Yeah, they had a maze at the end of the ride or something like that. Mm-hmm. I read about that.
Yeah, you could walk through it, and then you had to get on the ride, and you had to face King Kong, and you also had to face the creatures that were surrounding you.
Yeah, so that would have been... Yeah. And of course the King Kong ride was on like a cable car.
Yep.
It was a floating cable car that was supposed to represent New York City.
Roosevelt Island.
You saw Kong twice.
Yep.
Once he's like kind of hanging off a bridge kind of thing. And again, he's like hitting your tram like this.
Yeah, and you feel it rocking back and forth.
Yeah. He's not actually hitting your tram.
No.
Unfortunately. And the second time you see him, you round a corner and you don't see him.
Nope.
He's just like, you're like, okay, we got away from him. And you're like, oh man, that's it? Lame. And
nope.
then he's on your, because originally he's on your left.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's on your right.
Yes.
And then he's just like the towering, like what you see in Wizards with what's his face?
Wizards?
Yeah, it's a movie. Wonder Years Kid is in it, and Christian Slater is a
Fred Savage?
No,
No, I'm not talking about Fred Savage.
No, Fred Savage is in it. Maybe.
Yeah. No, he's the main character in the Wizard. Yeah. It's the Nintendo movie. Yeah. The one that introduced the world to Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but there's a scene where they're running through Universal Studios. It might be in California though.
It is.
And they run into the King Kong.
Yep.
You're facing on your right.
Correct.
Because I'm a nerd under that. So
that's fine. Like I said, it's the backlot tour at Universal Hollywood.
Yeah. Which is like all those rides lumped into one.
Yep.
Versus spread out.
And Florida Hollywood was spread out. You said you liked Jaws. I like Jaws a lot, actually. I really wish I could have been there for the Bloody Waters, the stuff they did at Halloween Horror Nights. They basically had like the fisherman that was in the boathouse with you, and he would like try to attack you, and they did all sorts of stuff like that. When I saw Jaws Bloody Waters, I thought they might have something else. Another sort of thing underneath, like an animatronic underneath the water plus Jaws, but apparently not.
Was it just like the waters looked like they had been chummed or something like that?
It was dark. I mean, everything was like, there was fire like normal, but it looked even better because you were in pitch black darkness.
You can feel that fire.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
Hard now.
But luckily, Jaws is still hanging there for photo ops. Sad Panda.
He's still there?
Yes.
Okay, well,
still
that
there.
makes me feel slightly...
He's there. I mean, it's like, it's sad. I mean, what happened is his home. And the fact Halloween Horror Nights lost another queue line that way that they repurposed for horror mazes. So
yeah.
But, I mean, you've got Diagon Alley, which is going to be awesome. And the London waterfront is going to be amazing. You got Gringotts Bank Coaster, which is coming in. It's going to be spectacular. You've got all sorts of different things that were not brought over in Hogsmeade at Universal at Islands of Adventure. Then, of course, you've got King's Cross Station, which is going to be the literal Hogwarts Express that transports you from park to park, which is going to be amazing.
And see, it's just like, I hear all that, and I'm like,
yeah,
cool, but there's no Jaws.
Talk Earthquake now?
Yeah, we'll do, Earthquake.
A little bit about Earthquake.
Earthquake, I'm assuming this ride hasn't changed very much except the name. Okay.
The setup has changed. The ride video.
Pre-show.
There is a pre-show, but it's completely different now.
Okay.
It's with Christopher Walken now.
Oh, nice.
And it's awesome. It's basically the same gimmick. Pretty much, you are extras in a movie, a disaster movie about an earthquake. That I don't want to spoil the end of it because it's such a great little cameo. But let me just put it this way: if you smell what I'm cooking, I'm basically trying to explain a little bit more than I should be.
Oh.
So.
Doing some math there.
Yeah, so Christopher Walken is definitely going to be your guide, and they're trying to make a disaster movie, and they do the same thing that you did in Earthquake, except it's a completely different setup. It's basically audience participation like it was before, and you get into the tram, and they film you, and you do the exact same deals you did with Earthquake, but like I said, the rooms are the same, but there's different things in the room. When you actually get on the ride, it's exactly the same.
Okay, so it's still like the semi-truck?
Yes.
Okay. So
same thing. You also get a Catastrophe Canyon outside at Hollywood Studios.
yeah, exactly. Because again, part of the tour in California,
Bingo.
Individual ride, Orlando.
Exactly.
So I barely remember that ride. It's granted, this has been like 99 or 2000 the last time I actually was at the actual park.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to Islands since then once. This was OC5.
Islands is great.
Islands
I really like Islands.
Islands
a lot.
was cool, but I was only there for so long, and dude, it was Jurassic Park. Had to ride it. But
Which I did for the first time last year, so yeah.
Oh, and Hulk, because I wanted
Hulk's
to ride
incredible.
Coaster. Yes, very cool. I
it-
love the intro where they're
yeah.
shooting you out. That's amazing.
You remember House on Haunted Hill? The opening of House on Haunted Hill is actually the Hulk roller coaster.
Yeah.
And that was really awesome, and I was really happy to finally ride it. And the Hulk, spectacular. I love that ride so much. That ride is amazing. I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man is awesome. Like I said, you're not a Harry Potter fan, but Forbidden Journey is, technologically speaking, one of the best rides I've ever been on in my life. It is absolutely spectacular. I don't like the fact that it's so small, so cramped in that area. Like I was trying to tell you guys before when we were shooting the video, basically about having to be like scrunched in like this trying to take a picture is basically what it was because it was such small space.
That's why they're spreading it out.
Itty bitty little
And
space.
obviously killing my favorite ride.
Yeah.
So
Well, we can talk Simpsons in a minute too, which is Back to the Future. So, but Earthquake was good. And I mean, if you remember, you got in your tram and all of a sudden it stops. And then, like,
stuff happens.
things happen. Water, fire, lions, tigers, and bears, oh my. So, I mean, all this stuff happens, and then, of course, it resets itself, and everybody marks out, and it's like, you have survived the earthquake, and then Dwayne Johnson shows up at the end, and that's the end of the ride.
Well, now you ruined it.
Sorry, that's just how it works.
He wasn't talking about the Vincent Price House on Haunted Hill.
No, I'm talking about
the
99 version, yeah, exactly.
Where Marilyn Manson butchers the Eurythmics.
Yes. Neat.
Yeah. Anyway,
he'll probably talk about that at some point. Back to the Future.
Yeah. I'm a huge Back to the Future fan.
Same here.
I wasn't that because I'm a huge Simpsons fan.
Yeah.
So like the transition there is not as bad.
It's kind of there.
But the Q line is my favorite part of that, honestly.
Yeah.
Because it's the Doc Brown story. If you have the Back to the Future, the most recent DVD set that came out, there's a bonus feature that has all the Q stuff in it. Which, honestly, isn't as cool as if you're actually there. But it was fun to watch, so...
Did you meet Doc Brown when you went?
No.
Doc Brown is still... It doesn't happen very often, but Doc Brown is still meeting guests in the parks. And the DeLorean is still at Universal Hollywood.
I know I saw a picture of it parked outside somewhere.
And it is the train from, 3?
Yeah.
And the DeLorean are in Central Park and the studios now.
Yeah.
I know because I ran straight into them because I was looking for frozen lemonade. And that's just how it works sometimes. Like that awesome picture of me drinking frozen lemonade from Halloween Horror Nights last year on my birthday. That story is unbelievable. But basically, you had Back to the Future, which gave me a splitting headache.
Oh,
it beat you around more than I've ever been beaten around in a Motion Master.
It's even worse than the Star Wars ride at Hollywood.
Wild Arctic at SeaWorld is worse than Star Tours.
Okay.
Without question.
I know they revamped Star Tours recently. I haven't been on.
It's awesome. I like it because it's different. You have different stories every single time. And you see different characters go to different places.
Wrong park.
Yeah, we'll talk about that eventually.
But yeah, Back to the Future definitely was just like basically the story being Biff stole a time machine.
So Jack Swagger steals a time machine.
Oh.
It's true.
Yeah.
Think about it. It's true. Jack Swagger steals a time machine.
So Biff is like, I'm gonna... There's no point of him doing it. Not like Back to the Future 2, where he's like trying to steal a book or something.
The almanac, sports almanac.
To gamble with.
Of course.
He's just like, I'm gonna dick around in time.
Yep.
And
see what happens.
Yep. And of course, you're running into the dinosaur scene.
That was awesome.
I remember the most because you're actually being eaten by a T-Rex or something similar.
Crashing into the side of the clock tower in Hill Valley. I thought that was awesome too. And then the end of it where you slide through and...
Yeah, very cool ride.
Yeah, definitely.
Again, knocks the hell out of you.
Yes, absolutely.
But I haven't ridden the Simpsons ride yet.
Simpsons has the same mechanism, same exact mechanism. You'll notice that the queue line's about the same, except it doesn't necessarily take all, well, it starts at the bottom and you go around, and then of course you have to go up the ramp and everything. Of course you can take those hidden pictures off the ramp for Halloween Horror Nights when they're hiding things. And, but all you guys out there know that. But basically, you have this, and you're walking around the ramp, you go into the queue line, and it's about the same exact setup. You get into you get an Otto's bus, and basically, you are in a theme park. Krusty Land has been taken over by Sideshow Bob, and he wants to kill you.
Nice.
He literally is going to kill you. He does not care what he has to do.
Does he still have the Die Bart Die tattoo?
Absolutely.
Right, nice.
He has a lot of different mechanisms to kill you. And of course, the queue line's one big and nice PS to Disney, because a lot of it is like making fun of the iconic Disney attractions. And that's basically what they're doing too. It's kind of like what they did with Shrek. Shrek has a lot of Disney references as well. Universal hyped it up with the Simpsons references. The Disney references in The Simpsons are very, very out there. And
well, Krusty Land
exactly.
was actually an episode where robotic Itchy and Scratchies are like trying to kill the Simpsons.
I love that episode because it's TG McScratchies, which was their version of Pleasure Island.
Yes.
That was great. I thought that was really funny because I loved me some Pleasure Island, sir, as everyone knows that. So.
I don't know if Poochie was in the episode. Probably not.
The Bort license plate, that's where that all came from.
Yeah.
We need more Bort license plates. More Bort license plates. And you can get Bort license plates at Universal. I know because I've seen them. And that's awesome.
My eyes just went insane.
So Simpsons, you get on the ride, like you had got in the DeLorean with Back to the Future. You get in Otto's bus, and Otto is your tour guide basically for a minute, and then he kind of bombs out,
which is nice.
Yes,
because Otto is he has very high cerebral abilities.
Yes. Medically speaking, he definitely does. So, basically, you, of course, you survive, because you're not going to die in a theme park, so, I mean, you survive, and the gate closes, and, of course, you go back to how you were. It's the same exact ride, basically. I mean, the video is different. It's obviously themed towards The Simpsons now, and it's a really good, attraction compared to Back to the Future. It's not as jerky as Back to the Future.
Nice.
But it's still there. The hydraulics are still there.
Yeah, I mean...
It still beats you up, but not as bad.
Yeah, I mean...
Which is good.
I remember getting off that ride when I was a kid, and I was like, that ride was fun. Let's go do something else before my head explodes.
Yeah. You've got the Wild, I think that's how... enough Wild West stunt show they had in Universal for a while, too. And which is now where Fear Factor Live is, which of course is where Bill and Ted is for Halloween Horror Nights. And that was really fun too. I mean, it's kind of like, it was like an old-timey, like a Western theme.
Yeah, I never did that though.
That was really cool. Yeah. They had the Murder, She Wrote, I gotta remember what it was. The Murder, She Wrote Mystery Theater. It was kind of like a, it's one of those audience participation things that was really cool. Nickelodeon Studios was a big thing for me, honestly. I was a big Nickelodeon fan. Getting slimed at Nickelodeon was one of my lifelong goals when I was a kid.
It never happened to me.
It didn't happen at Nickelodeon, but luckily, I got really, really fortunate, and I don't remember if it was Dollywood or it was another Paramount park. It might have been a Paramount park.
Well, Paramount had the Nickelodeon license.
Yeah, it's like when Kings Island got the Paramount license, I remember getting slimed on stage at Kings Island. So that was, I did not get to do it at Nickelodeon.
It happened though.
But it happened, so that's all that matters. And yes, it's...
Does it tastes like tapioca?
Yeah, which is disgusting, because I don't eat tapioca, so that does not work for me.
Nobody does, but I would bathe in it.
Yeah.
Because it's slimy.
And you can still get slimed, of course, at the Nickelodeon Hotel, which is located, that we just found out, about 25 minutes away from Universal property.
Yeah, that's...
Which, if Will ever goes with me, we'll work it out so he can... that's his best Nelson Muntz right there. But,
Weiss is gonna marry me someday.
Exactly. So, basically what we have here is we've talked about a lot of old school things, like, we mentioned Despicable Me, Minion Mayhem, which is the revamped version of Jimmy Neutron. Jimmy Neutron, of course, was the Fantastic World of Hanna-Barbera.
Also, which I did the Hanna-Barbera, I never did Jimmy Neutron.
And the Alfred Hitchcock, The Art of Making Movies.
Is that gone?
It's totally gone. The Lucy tribute's still there.
Okay, it has like the Lucy gift shop in it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You're good.
Is the restaurant with the swamp thing still there? Like all the old...
Monsters Cafe?
Yes.
Monsters Cafe is still in the front of the park for the time being. There's been rumors that Monsters was going to get turned into Starbot, which everybody said it was going to happen because it happened in Singapore. Starbot is the Transformers restaurant, so they could sell Energon there. But yeah, the ride looks awesome. I'm looking forward to September.
Want that.
87 days and I'll be able to ride the thing. So 88 days actually because I'm at Universal the second day. So
I want to sit by the swamp monster and eat my french fries.
Yeah, and you can do that because that place is a cavernous hole most of the time because there's no one there.
Well,
and Mel's is still there too, of course.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that cafe.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm not a big horror buff, but like it looks cool in there.
I know it is cool in there.
Yeah. So
I went to the bathroom there just so I could say I've been in the room because I've never been in there before last year.
No one goes there?
No, not really.
Bummer. Is it the prices or what's the deal?
No, it's just there's now it would be the fact of Fast Food Boulevard. Fast Food Boulevard's gonna be where everybody goes now, which is the Simpsons food court I was talking about earlier.
Okay, this is gonna have your Krusty Burger?
Krusty Burger's there. And there is Luigi's Pizza, there is Cletus's Chicken Shack, there is Lisa's Tea House of Horror, there is Flaming Moe's, and there is,
Well, they actually like the Flaming Moe.
Frying Dutchman. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Frying Dutchman.
Will they set your drink on fire? Because that's a Flaming Moe. You gotta have it.
Technically, yes, but what it is
I think it's grenadine, grape pop, and...
cough syrup.
Well, I have a cup at home that actually teaches you how to make it.
At Universal, the Flaming Moe is in a special drink cup, and it has dry ice in the bottom of it, and it flames up, and it's basically kind of like orange soda is pretty much what it is. Which is fine. I don't mind that because I need non-alcoholic beverages. Because everyone else is drinking Duff because they have Duff Dry, Duff, and Duff Light on tap at Universal now. At most tavern.
I want to get hammered though, and no, I don't because then let me give you a tip: don't go to Cedar Point and then drink and then go on roller coasters. Dumb decision. Fun when you're in line because time just pisses by.
Yep.
But then
they still have the DJs there.
What?
They still have the DJs in line.
Yes. Because now they have the new show.
Don't they have their rip-off of Fast Pass too?
Yeah, they do.
Okay.
Luminosity, I think, is the name of the show.
Because we're in a Blitz.
What?
That's what the Count used to say to his bats when they sneezed on Sesame Street.
Gotcha.
So I don't know what Luminosity is, but...
I think that's the name of it.
Sure.
Because it's fun because everyone will get distracted when you go to Luminosity, and then I'm like Millennium Force all day, every day.
Which I don't think I can ride anymore because of my weight, but no, well, we'll figure it out someday, maybe.
Honestly, man, I went with a buddy of mine last summer, and literally just slightly, probably around your weight, rode everything with us except the Twisted Wester, aka the I can't remember, the Twisted Sister, the
Wicked Twister. And the funny thing is, I'd never had a problem riding that ride, and I was bigger than that back then. So I think I'd be fine.
It was all this, and he rode it the first time, we got right back in line because there was no line for it, and the second time it wouldn't click and they wouldn't let him ride it. So
that's a problem with Forbidden Journey too. With they have the fat, not friendly fat seats.
Yeah, this is the pull down over the.
I should be fine, hopefully. I like the Wicked Twister. It's an awesome ride.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited to ride Gatekeeper too. Finally. And Maverick.
Mavericks. Have you never ridden Maverick?
Nope.
Nice.
Last time I was at Cedar Point was pretty much right after Millennium Open.
Oh wow! So you have to ride Top Thrill too.
Yes. No, I was there for Dragster, but I never got to ride it because it kept breaking down.
Issue with that ride.
I'm not good with heights, but roller coaster for some reason doesn't bother me.
That is a 4-second ride.
Yep. Exactly.
We're getting way off topic.
No, it's fine. There's a lot of great things that were at Universal that are no longer there, and there's a lot of things that have taken their place, which are good, if not better, in some of those things.
Yeah, some things I agree with.
E.T. is still there.
Make it a Watchmen ride.
Watchmen will never happen in a theme park. Now, I talked about it in plus and minus, I'll say it here. I'd be very happy if they took the they took Kid Zone and themed it towards SpongeBob. I think that would work.
That'd be cool because they have the license.
Yes, definitely. Utilize that license. I talked about the Madagascar water coaster. Do it. Make it happen.
Or make another just roller coaster. You don't really have to theme it towards anything.
No.
But make it a diving coaster, please.
You want a diving coaster, go to SeaWorld. It's called Manta. It's incredible.
I've never ridden it yet.
You need to. It's awesome.
But I want the diving coaster to be something dark themed. Doesn't have to be inside.
Yeah.
But make it like you're going and like the Mummy ride. It's like, oh, like I own your soul now. Says the Mummy, and you're like, oh, that's heavy.
The Mummy is, by and large, the Mummy is not a very hardcore coaster at all.
No, I mean,
but everything around you makes it better.
Oh yeah, like
when the fire over your head, and then you go backwards and you go down through it.
Because I've seen the POV with the lights on.
It's awesome,
and it's cool. Like,
but it's not the same
from a technician standpoint. But I'm no technician.
Neither am I.
But it looks really cool.
Yeah.
I like lights on, so I can see what the ride is.
Space Mountain, though, is kind of a letdown if you see it with the lights on. And when they were revamping Space Mountain, when you take the TTA and you go through Space Mountain, of course, you can see, like most people ride it just so they can see what's going on with the queue line, see how busy it is.
Raw's 3 minutes.
So
we gotta roll this joint.
Well, on that note, boys and girls out there, thank you out there for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed Ben's video.
Yeah, I mean, we were just kind of, just shooting for something, and I was just like, dude, I want to talk about the old school experience of the park.
Always down to talk theme parks.
Maybe someone that's out there that's like been there recently, has only been there once. They're like, oh, there was a Jaws ride there. Yes, there was.
Yes,
and
there
it
was
awesome.
Yes, it was. You can still get Jaws merchandise, but that's about it right now.
There was fire, and
it's pretty cool.
I won't ruin the story for you. There's POVs online.
Yes, there is. So, Ben, if you want to hand out your Twitter handle, you're more than welcome to.
It's at BENJAFETT. I've had like 2 requests so far from people I don't know, so maybe somebody's watching out there.
Yes, and of
digging
course.
me. It's probably Ronnie Radke.
It might be. There's actually a guy that was shooting on you about that the other day, which is kind of funny to me. We'll talk about that off camera.
Oh, okay.
So we're gonna go ahead and get off here. Thank you guys and girls out there for watching. Thank you guys and girls out there for caring about what we have to say. Of course, you can tweet me at Sir Owen Disney. And you'll join Ben probably, if I had to guess, next Monday.
Yes.
Most likely.
Most likely.
So until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all I got to say about that.
Take it easy.